Hi there, my name is Crispy Driver, and I make a lot of videos on cars. More specifically, I go to a lot of car shows. In fact, we went to 21 car shows this year, and I thought it would be great to look back and talk about the experiences of each one. But the best way I could think to do that was in a form of a top 10 video. So here it is, the top 10 car shows of 2024. And some of these may shock you. So sit back and relax and enjoy the video. So before I get started, I wanted to mention how I'll be scoring these shows. Partially, I am going by viewer response, so your likes and views, but I'm also taking into consideration my personal experiences and the variety of the cars. In other words, it's super arbitrary, the rules are made up, and the points don't matter. Starting off at number 10, the Riverfront Run car show. This was an amazing show in Madison, Indiana, the town where I was actually born. We went to this show the day before the Indy 500, which we had already planned to film. This show was on our way to visit my family, and having gone years before, I didn't expect much of a turnout. Boy, was I wrong though, when this show ended up being one of the biggest shows that we filmed this year. So many amazing cars and a lot of variety. And I'll admit, I am a little biased as I did enjoy seeing a few familiar faces while I was at the show. It was an extremely hot day, but there were plenty of places to get refreshments. I particularly liked the lemon shake-up I had from one of the vendors that flavored them for you. I had a green apple one that hit just right in the heat and hustle of the busy summer car show. Definitely a show I would recommend bringing your entire family along for. Lots of stuff for the kids to do, and it's right by the park. Parking was a bit of a hassle, but it was free. The show itself cost a whopping $0 to get into, so why not check it out? Sitting comfortably at our number 9 spot is the Lawrence County Car Show. This show couldn't have been held on a prettier day. Held just south of Bedford at the Hobson Automotive Car Dealership, it was a well-attended show with even more variety as it featured tractors and a rather large section of motorcycles. It was a great turnout too, with lots of classics and new cars. We even spotted the new Hummer EV, not that it was that exciting. Unfortunately, my mic decided to fail, so this video was a nightmare to edit, so it's hard to remember all the fun that I actually had. I also found out later that after we had left, they actually had a rev contest, which would have been really cool to see. Parking was free at this show. I believe they had free food too, but don't hold me to that as I didn't check it out. I did see them cooking and didn't see anybody paying, so I just assume it was free. So it's definitely another show you can take your entire family to, and they will most definitely enjoy themselves. Cruising in at the number 8 spot is the Cruisin for a Cure car show. I didn't really know what to expect when I came to this show. We'd actually tried to go to another show in Brazil, Indiana. Unfortunately, it had rained early that morning, so they had canceled that show. So we weren't really sure if this show would happen or not, but when we pulled up and saw a Dodge Demon 170, I knew it was going to be a good one, and it did not disappoint. Everything from classic muscle to brand new stuff, it had it all, including another Challenger with some questionable artwork. They had a few food trucks, but I did not partake. But based on how many people were eating at them, I would say they were pretty good. The crowd was awesome and the cars were all unique, which can kind of be a problem when you start to get this many cars at a show. Not a ton of stuff for the kids to do at this one, but if they enjoy cars, they definitely will enjoy it. And it also was another free show with decent parking, although it was mostly on grass. Not that parking on grass is a bad thing, but I like to consider how wet the ground is before I try to park my Challenger on it. It is not the best at getting out of slick spots. At the number 7 spot, we got Street Car Takeover. Now this show was honestly amazing. I am just counting the car show portion though, and not the racing, but to be honest, it is really hard not to. Any day at the racetrack is a good day, and a car show at a racetrack is doubly so. So many rare cars like this Maserati, amazing rides like this Subaru, and terrifyingly fast cars like this one. This show also has tons of vendors selling everything from merch to car parts all the way down to some food. They even had tequila. One thing I would say is that unlike the other shows I've talked about so far, this one did have a cost. I paid $25 plus taxes, but that covers parking and entrance. I definitely think it's worth it though, as you get to see all those cars in the car show in the morning, and then you get to walk around and check out all the cars that are gonna race, pick up some merch, and if you're ready to stay all day, you can watch some seriously amazing racing. If you go though, just remember to bring sunscreen, otherwise you might cook like I did. Exploding onto the number 6 spot, we have the Johnson County Park Car Show. The very nice car show. I'll be honest, editing that video was a nightmare, but this show was a dream. So much variety in the little show just outside the military base. Nicely shaded by the trees, it makes for an easy show to walk through. So much variation in the builds as well. Not often do we find many trucks, and this one had some really cool ones. I also really like the lowriders. Back when I was a young Crispy, lowriders were some of my favorite kinds of cars. They also had some food trucks, and I enjoyed some pulled pork nachos and a lemon shake-up that were reasonably priced and delicious. This was a free show as well, and definitely family friendly. Parking was okay, but you did have to park in the grass just across the street from the show, so be careful crossing the street as it was surprisingly busy. Coming in at the number 5 spot is the Paragan Homecoming car show. This one honestly came as a bit of a surprise even to me, not only with its position high on this list, but the fact that it was a show at a high school and that it would be so well attended. It had plenty of your standard classic cars, but it had some wild custom vehicles too. I definitely liked this Mercedes that used the big chains to create his wide body, and I always love seeing this old Ford that shoots flames. Although the parking lot was small compared to many shows, it was absolutely packed. And I almost forgot to mention all the cool bikes that came as well. This was another free show, however you did have to park on the grass and they did not have any food. There was also a small playground so the kids can have some fun too. So bring the family and check out some awesome builds. Coming in at the number 4 spot is the World of Wheels. It should come as no surprise that this show would be high on the list, as it probably had more vehicles in one place than any other car show that we had went to this year. 4 buildings completely full of custom, rare, and beautiful vehicles of all shapes and sizes. Beyond the cars, getting to meet and greet with Hector will forever be one of my favorite memories. The people at this show were extremely nice, some of them even letting me pass the ropes to film close to their cars. It was a veritable who's who of manufacturers and vendors of all kinds. Lots of free merch was available at some of the booths. I scored a pretty sweet hat. They also had food and drinks, but it seemed a bit pricey and I was hot, so I never really wanted any. Parking is free and on pavement, but at least where we parked, it was quite a bit of ways from the building with the show. It looked as if you could park a bit closer and be on the back side of the building. However, the parking there was definitely full by the time we got there. There is a cost for entrance though. I bought my tickets at O'Reilly's as it saves you a couple bucks, and I believe my ticket was only about $20. And I probably got more than $20 worth of free merch, so it was honestly a wash in my opinion. If you're anywhere near Indy, this is a must-see show. Another surprise here in the number 3 spot, the Linton Freedom Festival car show. Honestly though, if there is a local type of car show you should travel for, it is definitely this one. So many cars that I nearly couldn't get them all filmed. Every kind of make and model attended this show. Big monster trucks to little Alfa Romeos. I would almost bet you could have done the entire alphabet with just the first letter of the models on the cars at this one. And plenty of amazing custom builds as well. Lots of food and drink vendors showed up. There was also a big kids park that sits in the middle of the show so that the kids can have a blast and still be within eyesight of their parents. No fee to enter or park, although it is mostly grass and some gravel parking. Honestly, I'm not sure what else to say about this show except to put it on your list of must-go-tos. I promise you will not regret it. No surprises here with our number 2 spot, Severed in the Midwest. I found out about this show through my tattoo artist who owns a slammed out mini truck. He had mentioned that he was coming to this show and that it was a good one, so we had to check it out. And I am so glad that we made that long drive, as it was one of the best shows we went to all year. Out of all of those shows, this one featured more slammed out and hydraulic vehicles than any of them. And the custom paint on these cars and trucks were just works of art. They had lots of awesome merch vendors and a little bit of food trucks. Parking was free and in the lot behind the casino. I didn't check out the casino, but if that's something that interests you, it's literally right there. The show goes on for 2 days, so a lot of the car show attendees stay there overnight. I only went for 1 day this year, but I am considering doing both next time in hopes of catching a lot more of those amazing slammed cars. This is another show that doesn't feature a lot for the kids, though, like I said earlier, young Crispy would have lost his mind seeing all of these lowriders. It does have a small cost for entry. It is a minimum donation of $10, but the proceeds went to the WHAS Crusade for Children. They also had a raffle that the proceeds went to the same cause. I highly recommend checking this show out, and with it being a 2-day show, it makes it even easier to do so. Honorable mentions. The Indy, Cars, and Coffee, both when we visited it in Brownsburg and when we came to their last show in Plainfield. Definitely check out their official Cars and Coffee in Indianapolis whenever you get the chance next year. The Inglewood Masonic Lodge Car Show. Although it was a bit of a smaller show, it features some really amazing custom rides. The Smithville Car Show. It had an amazing turnout this year with more cars than I think I have ever seen at this show. Still a show that I think I will go see every year if I can. And the Hot Wheels Legends Tour, Greenwood. Although there were some amazing cars at this show, it was definitely a smaller turnout than when we traveled to Detroit in 2023. I just felt like its smaller turnout and lack of variety is what kept it off the list here in 2024. And at our number 1 spot, it's Rat Stock 2. It probably comes at little surprise since this video has over 3,000 views and sits squarely as my most watched video to date. But honestly, even if no one watched this video, this show would definitely be number 1. So many just completely over-the-top custom vehicles. The vibe was wild. 1 minute you're looking at an amazing-looking death trap, then you turn to see someone smoking a whole set of tires in a dedicated burnout pit. Cars shooting flames and kick-ass music playing. It's an experience unlike any other car show that I have ever been to. I'm definitely looking forward to Rat Stock 3, and I'm making plans to attend. I will say, this was not a show I highly suggest bringing children to. With the saloon and the cigar vendor, it definitely has more of an adult vibe. However, children are allowed to attend, and it seemed like they may have had some special events that involve children. Parking is a little involved, as it requires you to drive through a couple of fields to park in the grass. This is a big show, so be prepared to do quite a bit of walking, starting at the walking from the parking to the show itself, but I promise it is worth every step if you like custom-built cars as much as I do. And to top it all off, the show was free. Granted, I spent money getting a hotel and getting myself there, but the show itself did not have an entrance fee. So if you're in the area of Langley, Illinois, I highly suggest checking it out next year. And even if you're not, I would definitely put this show on my bucket list. It is really that special. Well, that's it for my video on the top 10 car shows of 2024. This year has been amazing, and I can't believe how many car shows we actually made it to. We met so many cool people at these shows and have heard some amazing stories about these cars. And for me, that's been the best part about going to these shows. It's not about the cars, but the people that build them, the people that drive them, and the people that love them. To me, these are the people that make up the real car community. And I'm super excited for next year, where I'm going to try to beat our record of 21 car shows. And if you want to see me break that record, be sure to subscribe to the Crispy Driver channel so you don't miss out on a single video. And if you like this end of the year wrap-up type video, be sure to hit that like button. It lets me know that you liked it, and I will make more videos like this one. And comment down below, what was your favorite show that I went to this year? Or if you want, what was your favorite show that you went to this year? But until next time, this has been Crispy Driver, and have yourself a wonderful day.